Hello, one. This is number 19. So we have the first three terms of geometric sequence are given 8, 7, 20, and B. A is smallest and B is the largest. We want is the sum of the digits of the least possible value of B. So we want B to be the smallest number possible. So if you want B to be smallest, then A has to be large as possible. That's smaller than 720. So let's start with 720. So 720, we need to find prime factorization. That's 8 times 9 times 10. So 8 has 3 2's. 10 has 1 2, which is 2 to the 4th power. And then you got 9, which is 3 squared. And then 10 has 1 to 5. So that should be our prime factorization. Another thing we need to remember, when you have three numbers, like consecutive terms in a geometric sequence, the middle term is actually the geometric mean of the previous and the next term. And you can actually have this like as long as the middle term is like some equal number space like away from each number. So it doesn't have to be consecutive, but it does also work on those cases. So for this one, I can say A times B is gonna be 720 square. And I do know 720 was equal to this, so that will be 2 to the 8. 3 to the 4th, and 5 to the 2nd power because I squared this guy. So when you have this, we can just try finding something. Like first thing is like we want to find the A and B are integers. So and then B has to be as small as possible. So to do so, we probably can try like looking at the prime like factors and see what would be the numbers we can split it. Like if you take this 720, like this is the number. So you just need to take one of these like prime numbers and divide by this so you can get smaller number. But if I take 2, because that's smallest number, so my A might be like 2 to the 3rd power, 3 to the 2nd power, and 5 to the 1st power. And then since I took one lesser 2's out of this, so my B has to be 2 to the 5th, and 3 squared, and 5 to the 1st. So when you do this, this is gonna be like 16 times 9, and then I take that another 2 with 5, that's 10. So 16, 9 is 144, so times 10 is gonna be 1440. So this is the number we get for B, but compared to 720, this is kind of too big. And also, that's the choice A. When you add the digit, that's usually a tricky choice if you feel like you get something really easily. So that might be a bit tricky. So that's actually not the answer because based on this, I just tried to find my common ratio to be integer, but the question never said that. So A and B has to be integers, not the common ratio. So if you can find A and B as integer without having like that common ratio to be integer, that's also okay. So to do so, we will try finding some numbers that's kind of close to 720. So when you look at the product of A and B, so you can kind of experiment, but you can try at least since you have like power of 2 is like larger than the other guys. So maybe we can just list the power of 2's. So if I try like the 5th power, that was 32, 2 to the 6 is like 64. I'm just writing because sometimes I need to kind of pair like wise multiply to see what can I get to close to this number. So which is why even though everyone knows that, I just want to list them so we can kind of see it. That's a good actually to do so. And then if we do this 8th power, so you get 256. So now we have this, but 25 is the largest number you can get with the power of 2's. So maybe I can multiply that by 3's or 5's just to get something larger than this. If you multiply this by actually 3, right? So that will give us 8, 6, and 7, which is actually larger than 720. So that looks like B works. So, but let's make sure that A is smaller than 720 in that case. So I took the 2 to the 8th power, and then I took one of these 3's, so for B, so 3Q and 5 squared, so this was 2, has to be A. And then that looks like this is 27 and this is 25. So 25 times 25 is 625, but there's 2 more 25, which is 50. So 675. We are happy that this is smaller than 720, which has to be, so that is actually working. So this is the smallest number that we can get for B. So if you add the digits, so that should be 21. And that's choice E. So even though, like, the question was asking the least possible value and then the non somehow like reasonable answer for some of us, but as you see, that is actually a trap. So the answer was 21, which is the largest number in the given choices. Anyway, so that was number 19.